as he is, and I believe in that. But unfortunately, he has done this before with Tunde Idiabo, and it did not translate. Whatever you do that is not sustainable, and the next generation cannot use it as a template of sustenance and development, as a way of life, becomes a failure.
But we're sincere about it. Was this something that we all wanted?
No, what I'm saying that it will need one strong leader to make a change. Let me now assume that Buhari has come as that strong leader. But unfortunately under a democratic dispensation, which means he has to sit down and talk with people. But when you look at the people around him, do they have the courage to open their mouth and tell him, Mr. President, this one is right, this one is not right? It doesn't appear to me. And if you have a government where nobody has ability to tell you that this is right and that is wrong, you'll be like the Igbos will say, a traditional ruler who takes no advice, and he carries like Felari and Sokuti will say, he go carry shit, go market, because nobody will talk to him. And you will see that that's what is happening in government. If it's not in town, nothing happens. I would have expected by now, and it's only recently I saw former governor of Lagos State, brilliant man, I don't like him, I love him, because each time I come into town, I go around. And before I forget it, I spent almost $500,000 naira visiting all the 6 zones in this country, to be able to really know, these are our governors, what are they doing? Do we have a hope for anything?
What did you find?
Tragic. There are states that have done fairly, very well relative to the amount of money they have. Lagos is first class. Enugu, where I live, is first class. And the governor who succeeded that is doing well. Anambra, Pt.2 laid a foundation no governor has ever done before. And the governor now is building on it. Go to the north, Gombe governor, as large as the state is, doing fantastically well. And most states in the what is now called the, what do you call them? And this riverine, there's something we call them.
The Niger Delta?
The Niger Delta. You'll be shocked to know that they are doing very well. Compared with the environmental structure you find there, where it takes you 30 naira to build, or 30 million to build a kilometer of road in normal states, it might cost about 200 million to do the same in those places. I was coming to Lagos yesterday on our flight. Suddenly people started shouting in the plane. I was in the business class and I turned around and I said, what is that? A governor was coming and he joined us to come to Lagos. The Osun State governor, that was the first time we saw him. People in the plane, we counted almost 24 jeeps that brought a governor to the airport. And in the business class where he was sitting down, he was sitting with his ADC, and behind him 2 other security officials. And it cost 40,000 something for a business class to go from Enugu to Lagos. So 4 of them are already paying 160,000. And it's among the states I saw listed. 5 months, he hasn't paid salaries. What is an ADC doing in a business class with his governor? What are 2 security people doing behind their governor? These are Nigerians talking in the plane, almost rioting, that they can't believe this. So that's what I'm saying, that have we learned anything under even the strong economic situation we find ourselves? There are governors who are making serious attempts. Go to, I think you people have held a program in Akwa Ibom State. If you visited Uyo before, what's his name, Akpabio came there, it was a glorified local government. But at least it showed that somebody can do something.
And a lot of people agree with you, but we all know that this infrastructure is superficial if the bond that binds us, because as you rightly said, it would seem that there's no love lost between certain areas of the country. And that is, you know, where the NYC, which you talked about, was introduced, why it was introduced, for us to see each other, you know, eye to eye, understand each other better, see where it is that we come from. Why is it then that bond of love? Because if anything should happen, look at what we're seeing now, herdsmen clashes and with farmers and what have you. All of this infrastructure can be destroyed in a matter of weeks. Exactly, if we don't address this underlying, you know, lack of desire to build a nation. Where do you think we should be going if we really want to build a nation?
Well, you know, it's either on this network or on AIT. Somebody did ask me a question like this. I said, look at Buhari, for instance. When he came first, after the 1983 coup, he became head of state and took Tunde Idiabo. Not only was he a Muslim, he was a Northerner. Thereafter, they overthrew him. Abacha formed the Petroleum Trust Fund and made him chairman. And he put in the two top people in this place. One, his brother-in-law. The other one is now the Minister of Water Resources. And go and read the inquiry Olusegun Obasanjo held on the corruption in PTF. This president has never mentioned anything about it. He formed his government. I'm now telling you part of the problem of this country. Nigeria does not start from Kaduna and end in Katsina or Kano. It starts from Sokoto, down to Cross River, down to Lagos, down to different parts. And you come into the seat of government. Apart from the director of media, that is the Yoruba man, and the vice president, everybody else in the villa is a Northerner. It's a Northerner. And other people look at it and they feel that they don't have a sense of belonging. And to the president, it doesn't mean anything. Chief of staff, secretary to government, national security advisor, everybody there. How can you run a country that way if you continue to alienate people? Because that is the seat of government. The seat of government is not in the ministries. If you know how government operates, a special assistant, ordinary special assistant to a governor or president is more powerful than a minister. Because he's the last voice, the last face the minister, the president or the governor will say. He will carry the last rumor. So these are things that happens and they take it for granted. They don't know people discuss it in beer parlors. People go to the villa and in the official language there is outer language. It's not supposed to be there. I want to hear somebody speak Yoruba. I want to hear somebody speak Igbo. I want to hear somebody speak Fulani if it's possible. It gives everybody a sense of belonging and it is very easy to do. It is very easy to do. So if people have this kind of impression that this country is for some people and not for the rest of us, that is why the only thing they play back is kidnapping, killing, falsehood, corruption in every form. And I continue to say that God has blessed us with a leader like Buhari, but he has to change his attitude. He has to change his style. If he doesn't do it, I pray God does not allow it to happen because I will weep. I hope he will not be the last president of this country.
How easy? Sorry to butt in there. I was just wondering, how easy or difficult is it for Nigerians, different generations now, to perhaps believe in the country the way you say you believe in it?
With the humility that I'm from the East, I'm an Igbo man, I have no apologies to. That's how God made me. So if I had found myself, I was born in Kano, for instance. So until we came back during the Civil War, we were called Hausa Igbos, and we were very happy about it. They call us people back, people who don't, nothing means anything to us. And it was a way of life, we loved it. But if you look at what is going on, you start to wonder, is it possible that things like this can happen? Have we learned anything from the experiences of the past? You just talked about herdsmen. That is the latest thing happening in Nigeria now. Killing people, killing farmers, taking their land. So even only in this country, people tell a lie when the truth is not asked of. What is this? How did this problem of herdsmen develop? Like the governor of Enugu was shedding tears, and I asked him, why should you cry? He says, sir, a 19-year-old girl came on holidays from Canada and they killed her. They killed her. Does that give anybody a sense of belonging? I don't think it does. We have created more division than ever before because of attitudes of people, body languages of people. But I still believe it is possible to change.
What gives you a sense of hope then? I think that's essentially
yes.
what Chamberlain is trying to ask.
Relating to you and the four of us here, there's a lot of love. We have to look into the problem of the Nigerian political class. It's becoming a tragedy.
What is their problem?
Their problem is greed. And in an environment where more than 70% of the population is poor, and they perceive that a class of people, and it's not even that they are greedy. The greed is protected with government force. Everybody in the National Assembly has 2 or 3 or 4 mobile policemen. Everybody is blowing a siren. Even local government chairmen, they all run sirens. Council chairmen have mobile police following them. Their wives have mobile policemen following them. This is why it is difficult to stop kidnappers and all this along the highways.
You know, all this will change. It has to change.
It has to change.
That's why we're discussing this, because irrespective of the government that has been in place, most of the things you just highlighted are things we have seen even before for now,
Yeah.
I hate to call any political party, irrespective of who's been there, we've always seen the siren, you know, we've always seen people being molested, harassed, but it all has to change. That's why we're discussing this. How can we, because Mark asked the question, from where can we start fixing things? And you say it is now. How can we start fixing it so that we don't go back talking about this in future?
We've just mentioned about Buhari. He has the instrument, the gift of God.
And by the way, sorry, what was the language? What was the language around the presidential villa before now?
Well, if you come in there, check in the recent times when Jonathan was president.